Hello folks, how you guys doing? Okay, we're gonna go into battle, but before we do, we're gonna start one more video. Catch up on the CC program and latest events. So that's what we're gonna do now. Enjoy.
Hello everyone. Oh my lordy lord, do Wargaming have a headache right now? Holy crap, they have really managed to screw themselves properly this time. Wow. Well,
I'm gonna go off camera while we're watching this, folks.
I mentioned that LVM was leaving, Little White Mouse left the CC program, and that I heard speculation that Jingles and Flambas and potentially Trendless would be leaving. Trendless was actually wrong, I was told wrong, but Jingles and Flambas both left the CC program. And since then, the list of CCs that have left the program has been ever expanding. I'm going to do a short recap of the people that have left in just a couple of last few days. Aiton, April White Mouse, A to the K 101, Black_SK, Chaos Machine GR, Clyde the Monkey, Denarmo, Dobbymate, Doc Brighter, Flambas, iChase Gaming, Jingles, yes D Jingles, Mage T, Malimu, Mr. Gibbons, Pointy Haired Jedi, Privateer, The Grumpy Beard, TC Freer, and Yusral. These are people from basically every aspect of the community, and probably people who combined have a significant percentage of the World of Warships English viewer base. And well, they're from other countries as well. And they have all decided to bail on the program. They've all decided, you know what, this company is dog shit, we are done, we're out of here, we no longer want anything to do with Wargaming. So Wargaming, well, they're having a bit of a meltdown. And of course, you know, in classic Wargaming fashion, the best way they think of diffusing this issue right now is, well, they ban anyone who tries to use any of those words. Like if you try to type Little White Mouse or LWM on their official chat, they have a bot that automatically bans you, so you can't mention it. If you try to talk about CCs, you get banned. So I can see where they've learned these tactics. Very old school tactics for sure, silencing the people. But obviously this is not working very well. It's having a significant Streisand effect, and fundamentally, they are in a gigantic shitstorm of a situation right now, because you have to understand how terrible this looks for them. These are people who play the game anyway, and Wargaming literally gives them free stuff. Like, they get free stuff every month. They get the new ships, they get camos, they get flags, they get balloons, they get everything they could wish for and access and all of this. And people are literally like, no thanks, I'd rather just play the game and not have anything to do with you instead. That really sends a message to just how despised this developer is right now. Just, I mean, wargaming, there's been reason to do this, and the good part here is, of course, that with all these people leaving the program and sharing their experiences, I would say the community has opened their eyes a bit. Even people who were very, very questioning of any claims about how bad wargaming are, and basically people who had rose-tinted glasses on and thought that, well, wargaming isn't that bad, even those people are starting to understand just how terrible of a company they are, and this mass exodus of CCs across the board leaving is really, really making life extremely difficult for wargaming. There are a couple guys who stayed, as far as I know, and that actually brings us to our next topic, Euro, you know, like Eurobeat, the guy who does like those meme YouTube vids. Well, he's one of the guys who stayed, and I'm not sure if it's because someone got mad because he's staying, but someone actually posted the stuff Euro has been saying on his Discord, and it's a public Discord. He said it in both private channels and in public channels, and I don't really know the guy. I've never met him. I've never really had anything to do with him. I thought he makes some funny meme vids, and that's pretty much it. But the comments that this guy has been posting has been honestly abhorrent. That's really the best way of putting it. We're talking N-words, we're talking hating on LGBT, we're talking anti-Semitism. I did a poor job of trying like to censor the pictures a bit to show, but these pictures were leaked, and anyone can go on that Discord and find them still, unless they've been deleted by now. But he basically got caught for saying just the most abhorrent shit that you can imagine. Like, really, holy shit, like 0 to 100. I had no idea. This has been going on for a long time. Like, this dates all the way back to like 2000 and something, 2018 maybe, all the way back 2019. So this is not a new thing. This has been going on for the years, and this is kind of like people have gotten an image of Euro that perhaps they didn't have before. Obviously, this also leaves wargaming in a really gigantic bit of a bind, because, well, they just lost all their big CCs. They have no big CCs. Like, the biggest streamers, biggest YouTubers, biggest everyone has left, and the only one they have left right now is Euro. But they've kicked CCs in the past for stuff like this, and I mean stuff that doesn't even come close to this. So now they're really in a bit of a bind. Is like, are they actually going to uphold their normal standards, or are they going to make an exception because their CC program is literally collapsing underneath them? So a lot of us are really looking forward to the next week to see what on earth they're going to do, what is going to be the response to all these multiple fires. They're like, literally everything at wargaming is on fire right now. The house is on fire, the cat is on fire, the car is on fire, even the fire hydrant is on fire right now. Everything that could explode at once is exploding at once for them. I do mention Euro did make an apology, but it was actually a terrible apology. Like, it was like kind of a cringe-worthy apology. It was a bunch of, oh, I'm sorry, it was cultural ignorance, and I was just upset at my internet, and like you can find it very easily by googling it. But it obviously didn't go over very well, because it was very much I'm sorry I got caught kind of an apology. So he's not really been having a good time. People have not been very impressed by, let's say, the logs that have been coming out. So that's another complete different shitstorm that's brewing at once. So the CC program is just exploding from every possible flank, from every possible side at once, and we have explosions left, right, and center. And I mean, at this point, how have they managed to mismanage their program so poorly that right now I'm more interested in the shit show that's brewing around the game than the actual like stuff that is happening in the game. Like, they're literally just adding the biggest new change to the game for years. They're adding submarines to the game, and not a single person is talking about submarines. No one is actually talking about submarines anymore. Everyone is talking about the absolute PR disaster that is currently going on over at Wargaming. So next week is gonna be incredibly spicy. Next week is gonna be incredibly interesting. And I do ask, please do not harass the dudes, but I've seen some people go really ham on people staying in this program. Ultimately, staying in the program should also always be a choice. Some people, well, it's not easy. You gotta remember, it's not as easy for everyone to leave the program, the CCA program. It's kind of intentional that way from wargaming. Like, it gives you a lot of benefits, and losing all of those benefits to make a point, it might be tough for small creators. You gotta remember that. For me, not being in the CC program anymore, well, it kind of just bolstered my viewership, and honestly, it really didn't have any effect on me. But for some dude who's kind of struggling, barely holding on, and the only thing that really gets him to stand out is getting to like preview this new content and all of this, and he needs the resources that he gets from them. You gotta understand, for those dudes, jumping out of the program, it's not that easy. It's a pretty goddamn big leap, and I've already seen some people get actually harassed, like I think it was TC3 or someone who was literally harassed on stream, because he didn't even know that this was happening, and he was just like, he had been asked to cast a tournament and he got a bunch of shit on him. He left the program later, but like, come on guys, keep some decency at least in this thing. Just because your favorite big content creator left the program, it doesn't mean that everyone else can leave it as easily. It's always going to be a challenge. It's always going to be like, it's always going to be a big hurdle for a small content creator to lose a significant aspect of their content. So I really just wanted to highlight that. Still though, right now, well, I haven't really been focusing much on the upcoming ships. I can tell you that the Zeven Provincien, I actually don't recommend it. I think it's pretty junk. It doesn't really do any damage. The gun DPM is very underwhelming. It's DD levels, and the gimmick of the strike planes is extremely underwhelming. So there's absolutely no reason to get that one. Congress is okay, but really, if you have Alaska, it's a waste of time. And Borodino is really not that special. Honestly, there's not really any new premiums right now that you really need to get. The only one that's apparently quite strong is the Ragnar. But once again, if you have the Småland, probably not worth going for that one as well. So here we have 10 minutes of drama and then like a small recap of, by the way, there's actual ships and stuff happening in this game. Oh my god, this is actually such a disaster right now. But we are looking forward to next week and seeing how on earth what is Wargaming's response going to be to the massive CC exodus, the entire Euro PR bullshit explosion, and just the overall community response. It's, well, bring your popcorn, remember to hydrate. This is gonna be an interesting week for sure. I'll talk to you guys next time. Have a great rest of the day.
Morning, folks. So, I'm sitting here drinking my first cup of coffee, and I'm just looking at the list of community contributors, CCs, that have actually left Wargaming in the last 24 hours, and it is frightening to see how the CC program is starting to implode. And of course, we'll come back to this list, but it all started with Little White Mouse. So, Little White Mouse did a review on the Yukon, and if you've been a World of Warships player for longer than 2 months and did a Google search on any ship review, Little White Mouse would come up. Probably one of the hardest working CCs out there. An amazing analysis of ships, etc., done by a person. I couldn't even comprehend how the person does that much work. Anyway, so they were treated like shit by Wargaming. There was a whole shit show about a ship that was going to be released, the Yukon. They did work. They pretty much got ignored by Wargaming. Now, Wargaming ignoring their players isn't anything new. They have literally been shoving submarines into our faces for the last year to 2 years. And the more the player base told them, listen, rather fix certain aspects of the game, balance things a little bit more, the more they are subs. We will give you subs. You want subs? No, I don't want subs. Yes, you want subs. No, we don't want subs. Take the subs. They're now in production. The amazing thing is, obviously, I made a video about it. Old Flamu, he got kicked from the CC program a while ago for being toxic. No tears shed there. The sad one was Zoop. No Zoop for you, that got kicked from the CC program for some comments. But the scary part is, and this was actually tweeted by Flamu, how to sabotage your own company. And this is the resignation letter that Little White Mouse wrote. And she goes into great detail on exactly how she was belittled and insulted by the employees at Wargaming. And the fallout has been immense. So a list of the actual CCs that have left. Little White Mouse, great person. Chibutsu, I didn't personally know, didn't really watch or anything, but I believe it's a relatively a big follower. iChase Gaming, I watched some of iChase's videos. Flumbus has been unhappy with Wargaming for a while, and he's been doing a lot of Tarkov, and he's been one of the inspirations for me actually trying to play Escape from Tarkov. So no surprise that he's left. Chaos Machine GR, so Chaos Machine Greek, nutcase. I've watched his streams a little bit, so I don't particularly enjoy his streams myself because he's got all sorts of overlay animations and stuff that goes on over it. A lot of people do enjoy that, but he's a really good person. Please don't misunderstand me. He is a brilliant person, and his enthusiasm for things is amazing. Just because I don't like the animations and overlays in his streams doesn't mean I don't think he's good people. He's brilliant, he is really what I would describe as good people. Jingles, that was a surprise. I know Jingles does the videos, he does the odd review, but he does replays, and he does a whole lot of other games. I don't think he has actually been deeply involved in a while, except for the Armchair Admirals, etc. So that was a surprise to see him go. Your Yusrol, don't know him at all, Mr. Gibbons. Now this one was a big surprise. My personal opinion, and it's very much my personal opinion, was that Gibbons is so deep up Wargaming's arse you can barely see his feet dangle, and to see him leave was a surprise. I don't watch his stream. I don't personally enjoy his way of doing things. It's a personal choice. Clyde the Monkey.
Hold on a second,
That's no
folks.
surprise. I've watched him before. Doc Brighter. Dobie Mate. I've watched Dobie Mate, and Denarmo. I've watched him before. Very interesting. Ashley saying that she hasn't, and I've raided Ashley before, and I've been in matches with her, etc. And it was quite surprising because I thought she was still a CC, and Ashley was actually no longer. She quit a year ago, so pretty much another flamoo just going on about it. People still being silent. Leave him alone. Let him live in his own little world. The one interesting thing, and probably the most important tweet that I'd like to bring to everybody's attention, is old fragmentation. Now, if you don't know fragmentation, you don't know Puerto Rico, you don't know the Puerto Rico grind. Fragmentation is my Mexican homie. Brilliant guy. We might differ sometimes on political views, etc., but I adore Frag. He is such a good bloke. I've mercenaried for them during some clan battles, etc. I've featured replays from them here. He's good people. Just because I disagree with him on certain things doesn't mean we're not friends. He's good people as well. And the tweet that he put here is super important. Of course, Wargaming doesn't give a fuck about the CC walkout. They want to move from content creators to cash rewards-based multi-level marketing recruitment. Amway, Herbalife. Yeah. That's why they brought the other program in. And so many people have been accepted into that program. Do you think they're going to care about this? He nailed it right there. They're going to move into cash reward based multi-level marketing recruitment. And that's with their whole affiliate program where you can earn up to $3,000 a month type shit. So what do I think is going to happen? I think they're going to Wargaming is going to issue a statement. Today's Sunday here. Moscow is 1 hour ahead of us. So I'm GMT +2, Moscow's GMT +3. It's a Sunday. I think Karmatika, etc., a couple of the social media managers are watching this and taking notes. There'll be a meeting on Monday morning, urgently. A statement will be issued, and the statement will read something like, "We are very sorry to see these people go, blah, 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 blah. There was miscommunication. We'll try and do better in future." And that's going to be it. Very important one, and I forgot to bring this up. Fem, where is she? If I could type, this would work better. This thing that she said here. A quick note regarding the CC exodus from World of Warships. If your favorite CC decides to stay in the program, do not hold this against them. Every creator is in different places and some cannot afford to leave. This doesn't mean they agree what's happening. I don't know what to make of that statement. I think it's Renzo, really good streamer as well. He basically said, look, financially my stream depends on being able to give out CC codes, etc. So he can't afford to leave. Point is, why are you building on one game? You know, why are you binding yourself to one company? I know a couple of other streamers, and I'm not going to mention their names. I'm really hoping my one respected friend on the streaming community does leave. Then a few others. Wouldn't surprise me if they stay. Because a lot of people literally just watch their streams for the CC codes, etc. Great, it's wonderful for numbers and advertising and stuff, but if you've built an entire following just because you're giving away shit, are they really there for your content? I would rather be watched by 5 people that enjoy my play and my chatting to friends, etc., and chatting to the audience, than 50 people there with no actual enjoyment of what I'm doing, but they're there to get free shit. That's a moral and ethical decisions somebody has to make. So yeah, let's see what happens from here. Obviously, the one person that you do really need to follow is Earl Grey. Earl Grey has been summing this up brilliantly. Please go to his YouTube channel, follow, and he does brilliant analysis of it. And yeah, we'll see how this develops. Otherwise, people, COVID is still out there. Get vaccinated. Yes, I am an advocacy or advocate for getting vaccinated. I know there's a lot of anti-vaxxers. Let me tell you this. My wife was in hospital for 2 weeks with COVID, 4 days in ICU. I was sick as a dog with COVID in January. It's not pleasant. This thing isn't like a cold. I got the Pfizer vaccine. We're getting vaccinated. And I urge you, get your shots. It's just like yellow fever or anything else. Otherwise, drink some coffee. Tell everybody you love them. Tell them you care. And we'll see how this develops. Cheers.
Hello everyone, and good morning once again. What's up with these morning videos these days? I honestly I hoped I come with a more positive vid, because I feel like the last couple of vids have been quite negative in tone, mostly because, well, wargaming aren't exactly doing themselves, their company image and so forth, any favors with their Q&A and squeezing in the submarines, and then the entire Missouri shitstorm, like the funnel bugs. There's just too many things that they have going on, too many broken things, them not fixing the torpedo bug. It's been a lot of negative news like in a row now, and I'd really like to come up with some positive news. But today's news is the fact that basically, well, all their biggest CCs are leaving their program. community contributors, the guys that are supposed to like, well, provide the community with contributions or whatever. I mean, that term is a bit loose because I felt I provided more community contributions since I left the program, or sorry, since I was kicked from the program, not left. But the news, of course, is that LVM has left the program, Little White Mouse. And to follow that up, iChase Gaming also left the program, and apparently both Jingles and Flambas are also going to be leaving the program. Those two are still not confirmed, but that's basically what's on the grapevine. So the CC program is basically kind of collapsing, and well, not exactly surprising considering how that company treats. I was a CC for many years, and there was a reason why I celebrated no longer being part of that program. And I guess people are starting to get a grasp, get an idea of just what kind of company it is and how they actually treat their CCs, and why it simply isn't very enjoyable to be part of that program, even though it's supposed to be a very positive experience. With the company culture that Wargaming has, it very much is not. What we should start off with Little White Mouse. For those that aren't aware, Little White Mouse is basically... I don't think there's anyone who doesn't respect Little White Mouse as a CC. In fact, if you have a company, if you have any sort of gaming company, Little White Mouse is the kind of CC you wish you had. She's the one who has an incredible love and passion for the game. She reviews basically every single ship out there. She meticulously tests everything related to game. Like, I often joke that Little White Mouse is Wargaming's quality assurance department, because clearly they don't have one themselves. And she's basically taken over that role. So that's kind of what I joke, and that's kind of what it feels like, because she's the one, she basically turning circles for all the ships. She's the one who corrected them all, because then the values that you had in port were wrong, but she went into training rooms and she sailed every single ship around in circles and measured their turning circles, and basically she's the one CC whose reviews I read, because she does so much research into everything she does, and it's extremely hard to dislike her in any way, because she's very much positive, civilized, just a nice human being who's incredibly passionate about the game. So the fact that Wargaming has actually managed to drive her out of their program is... I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to laugh, but holy shit, how dumb can you be? Like, how much of a PR disaster can you make for yourself to drive that kind of person out of your program? That's basically, she exemplifies what being a CC is, and they managed to drive her out of the program, which I find just absolutely hilarious. The game in the background, it's old Pommern secondaries, by the way. I never got around to featuring it, that this is Celebration to Old Secondaries, another thing that's being done right now. But we're not gonna get into that. For those who aren't really aware of the Little White Mouse thing, basically, well, she's been lied and gaslit to by Wargaming plenty of times in the past, but one of the really big tipping points that really soured her relationship with the company was that she and Chobi was asked to design a ship for Wargaming, and they worked on this for like over a year. They put in a lot of effort, a ton of work into it, and Wargaming kind of just ignored it. They ignored it and pretended they were lying, pretended it didn't happen, and then when they finally provided evidence and they finally brought it out into public, only then did Wargaming backpedal and start apologizing, but they still weren't willing to implement any of the work that she put in. And I mean, this is probably pretty common to you guys, because this has always been my experience with Wargaming as well, is you bring up something, they ignore it, you bring up something, they ignore it, you give them feedback, they say we don't like your feedback, and then you make a video about it. You make a public video about the subject matter, and it blows up, and then Wargaming is like, oh shit, I guess we have to do something about that. Wargaming never does anything out of their goodwill, or because they want to help the community, or because they respect their player base. They do something because it blows up in their face, and they're forced to do something. And this was kind of the case with the whole Yukon debacle, of course. So, of course, Wargaming, they cited miscommunication issues, classic communication issues, of course, and how they weren't gonna do it again and how they were gonna fix it and so forth. But at this point, I mean, Little White Mouse is used to being treated like a mushroom, kept in the dark and being fed shit. But so she actually wanted them to do something tangible, and that was to use the camo that they spent all this time developing for the ship that they were supposed to develop. Like, basically use a percentage of all this work that they did and just implement the camo into the game. And some people said this was wow, how can she demand a camo or something like that. No, the point isn't the camo. The point is that this is Wargaming actually having to do something to mend the relationship. That's the point. Because Wargaming hands out apologies and excuses like they hand out candy. It's, we're sorry, we didn't mean, we're gonna fix it, we're gonna be much better. We've heard this 50,000 times. No one trusts this company anymore. There is zero trust between the player base and the company, and I know CCs don't trust this company at all, despite what they're not really allowed to talk about. Because I've been there. I didn't trust anything they said. So, obviously, she wanted them to add this Sackwell camo to the Yukon, and of course Wargaming refused. It was too much for them. They had to do something tangible. They couldn't. There was something they actually had to do. They couldn't just type a nice message and say, "Oh, we're sorry, we're not going to do it again," and "Oh, miscommunication." But they actually had to do something to repair the relationship, and this was just too much for them. And of course, apparently, they also when she talked about this on the Wargaming Discord, apparently a Wargaming employee decided to contradict her, belittle her, and ignore the evidence she was providing, all the while barking at me to show them respect. This is them communicating better. It's completely unacceptable, we're just an isolated incident. So, and then finally, it took them almost an hour to apologize and admit they were wrong in this case, but only after other CCs had to dogpile onto the situation. This sounds like Wargaming. This sounds like Wargaming. You are wrong and you are misinformed right until it blows up in their face, and then they realize, ah shit, now we have to apologize. So this was the final straw that kind of broke the camel's back in this case. And of course, in this case, I mean, it's probably gonna be Little White Mouse's word against Wargaming's word, but between those two, like, it's not even a contest. Hello? Like, I don't trust Wargaming as far as I can throw them, whereas Little White Mouse is probably the only CC whose reviews I've actually read throughout the years. The only other CC whose content I follow, because it's interesting and because it's detailed and because she doesn't ever come across as the kind of person that would lie. So, obviously this has repercussions though. Managing to alienate her and managing to get her out of the program, which is very impressive. Getting someone who actually loves your game as much as she does, getting them out of the program is already, like, impressive. I don't even understand how you managed to fuck that up. Like, well done, Wargaming. Your PR disasters apparently have no bottom. I thought you dug all the way to the bottom, but you're just continuing digging. I don't know, you got a diamond tip on your drill or something. So that also meant that iChase decided, he posted a vid today, he's out as well. He was like, he cited once again, well, the classic Wargaming treats everyone like shit, they ignore all the feedback, the communication is junk, and, well, of course all the feedback, especially like Missouri, was very sore point for a lot of CZs, because, well, the way it's being presented is scummy as shit. I mean, you saw my vid on it, it's hilariously scummy the way they're doing doing Missouri, celebrating Victory in Japan Day by forcing you to gamble on the blue loot boxes. It's treating the player base like walking wallets. So, he's bailing, and apparently Trendless is gone as well, and Jingles, he left World of Tanks CC program because of the whole DMCA Sir Fock issue ages ago, but now he's apparently leaving the World of Warships section as well, doesn't surprise me, and apparently Flambaz is also leaving it, and who did I not mention? Let's see. We mentioned iChase, Jingles, Flambaz, Trendless. That's the ones that are apparently also going to be dropping bids today and going to be bailing on the program. So, this is Wargaming managing to sabotage their own program. Like, I mean, I guess in a way, I think it's fair,
because we have had to endure a shitty fucking CV rework, a shitty Commander rework, and now Wargaming gets to enjoy a CC rework. So maybe there is actually some fairness, some justice in the world. Anyway, have a great rest of the evening, and have a great rest of the day watching this house of shit cards collapse, because that's going to be pretty entertaining.
Greetings sailors, and welcome to my last video as a community contributor for World of Warships, because frankly it's just all gotten to be a little bit too much. Now, this is actually not the first time I've resigned as a CC. I did over the whole Foshgate back when it was a combined program, And after about a year away, I was persuaded to come back by the newly formed Warships community team with the promise that things would be different. And you know, they were. Compared to how it had been previously, it was basically a breath of fresh air. It was really nice to basically be with everyone on one unified server. There's a lot of nice cross-pollination going on. I've gotten to know other CCs and staff members as a result, and that part has been jolly nice. But other things have not been so nice. I mean, a big factor for me has been the slippery slope we've been on with loot boxes since 2018, I think, something like that. I seem to remember it was a Halloween event where they first put the some of the camos in loot boxes, and I can't remember if they were ones you could pay for at that point. But I remember feeling some disquiet at the time about the notion of loot box exclusive content. And, well, fast forward to 2021, here we are with Missouri going back on sale, except only in loot boxes. And honestly, it's well established at this point how exploitative and morally dubious they are as a mechanic, and the fact that Wargaming has chosen to embrace them so wholeheartedly has left me with a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. But more than that, it has been their reaction to our reaction, if I can put it that way. The justification was flimsy and self-serving at best. Now obviously this is a free-to-play game. Wargaming has to make money selling stuff in order to keep the game going, but previously I at least felt there was some sense of balance in how they did that. And I've always been at least a little critical of some of the high prices involved. There are very few actual microtransactions in World of Warships, and that goes for World of Tanks as well. And World of Warships really did take its cues for pricing from World of Tanks. But any notion of treating the customers fairly has kind of, I would say, gone out the window, but it's very firmly been pushed right to the back. And now we have the straw that's broken the camel's back, as far as I'm concerned, in what they've decided to do with the Missouri, particularly in light of that Q&A question that popped up from like 3 years ago, where I basically asked a very pertinent question of Sub-Octavian, and now here we are in 2021, and they're, instead of doing the things that they could do to easily make this fair to both existing owners of the Missouri and potential new owners of the Missouri, they're instead they're milking the player base. There's no other way to put it. They are 100% going for the FOMO factor, and yeah, it doesn't particularly speak well as to ethical business practices. Now, it's not maybe quite as bad as the big publishers or even some smaller publishers that sell games, you know, AAA games, and then stick microtransactions and loot boxes in them, but it's still hardly a good and ethical business practice to exploit your player base, and it really does smack to me of prioritizing short-term profits over long-term health of the game, which, I mean, I like this game, and so obviously that's rather disquieting to me. We do have a couple of other factors as well. Submarines look like they are going to be shoehorned into the game no matter what at this point. At the moment they are basically a complete parody of what submarines were in real life, but you know, that's what it's taken to make them fit, which just goes to show how little they fit to start with. And to finish off with, well, there's the whole situation with the Yukon and Little White Mouse, and frankly, Wargaming has treated her very shoddily. And it's very telling that I don't think they even realised what a gem they had with Little White Mouse. The way that she has been consistently communicated with and treated by Wargaming, it's just, again, it would have been so easy to take what happened with the Yukon and at least try and take something good from it, but again, Wargaming has failed, and again, it says nothing good about the upper echelons of the management and how the game is being directed overall in terms of its business strategy. So for all those reasons, yeah, I think I'm done. I'm done being a CC, and I might even be done with my own replays, but I have made a commitment on Patreon to keep putting other people's replays out, so at least you'll still see some World of Warships content, but I'm definitely going to be re-evaluating how much I want to be covering it, even though it might hurt my own viewership, I suppose. But you know, I have been here before. I really have been here before, so I kind of know what to expect, I suppose. Anyway, I expect there might be a couple of comments under this one, so you can let me know what you guys think. I am going to finish this off by saying, be respectful, not just in my own comments section, but be respectful of other CCs that have left. Be respectful of CCs that have chosen to stay. Everyone's got their own reasoning on this. I'm not trying to guilt anyone or insinuate or anything with this. These are purely my own reasons, and I mean, clearly I'm not the only one that feels this way, but there are, I mean, if nothing else, there are others who equally share this disquiet, who've chosen to remain in the program because they have hope that they can get Wargaming to mend their ways at least a little, which personally I don't share. I wish I did, but yeah, just don't be an ass to people. Basically, we've already had some of this, unfortunately, with the stream, I think yesterday as I'm recording, where TC Freer was forced to leave the official stream because the chat just turned utterly vile and abusive. Don't do that. Just don't. We don't need to turn this into a giant cesspool for no reason. Anyway, okay, that's it. I'm done. Yeah. Hopefully Wargaming will take this as some kind of wake-up call, but we'll see. We'll see. So that's it for now. Hopefully you have found some food for thought in this video. Don't buy loot boxes, and stay tuned for more.
I hope this video finds you all doing well. This video is actually coming out a little bit earlier than originally planned, but some things have happened within the last little bit that has pushed this whole situation up to an earlier time. So recently, a significant group of very, very notable CCs, myself, Jingles, Flambass, Little White Mouse, and a number of others whom you will start to see videos and content and streams and stuff with coming out in the next little while. We've gotten really to that enough is freaking enough stage with Wargaming, St. Petersburg. The things they're doing as a company are disgusting and very oftentimes just morally bankrupt. You know, the things they say, the things they do has just pushed us over the edge. And there's a couple of major things. And the first one, and I think this one is kind of going to be obvious to many of you, is the gambling loot boxes. There is so much of these loot boxes now that it almost feels like every single month something new is in a loot box. Even when it's not something that should be in a loot box. Oh, well, you know what? We'll put it in a loot box too. You know, just think Distant Voyagers containers. Like, really? Just for camo, not even for ships, just camos, needs to be in a loot box now too. You know, and then the final real thing that kind of broke the camel's back is Missouri. This is a ship that was originally for free experience back in the day, and of course they made her with that huge credit earning bonus, which was the real reason they initially went, oh, that's not good. You know, players get that one premium ship and they never need to get another one. And that one, of course, remember, they didn't even sell. They made it for free experience. So, you know, they decided that that was not going to be a ship that they wanted people to have easy access to. So they removed her. And then, of course, later on, that ship came back in a box. And so you think, okay, well, maybe one day, when they decide that they want to bring just a ship back for her historical significance, they'll make her just sort of like every other premium ship, a ship that is relatively easy to just go into a store and purchase. Well, now we know, you know, this historically significant ship, the one that a lot of collectors have been waiting for. Oh no, that's in a loot box as well. Also, by the way, speaking of containers, don't forget, with the Missouri, they're not even telling us what the odds are, right? It could just be like Johan de Witt again. And even with Johan de Witt, don't forget that for an early access container, went from originally like odds, which was like 1 in 40 something. For Johan de Witt, it went up to 1 in 72. They actually increased the number of boxes you have to open for a chance at getting that ship. This is just how much this gambling thing has increased. And remember, this is still a game that, according to the ratings agencies, are perfectly good for children. Just think about that for a second. Anyways, the response regarding Missouri was very, very negative among the CCs. I mean, a lot of feedback was provided. A lot of very passionate feedback was given. And, wow, the responses that, you know, we got back from Wargaming. Wargaming loves to say that we are supposed to be partners in this discussion, but that wasn't a discussion between two partners at all. I can't really go into the details because obviously they decided that that needs to be NDA as well, so I can't really talk about specifically what was said, but the simple way I can explain it in a way that I think all of you can imagine is, imagine having a quote-unquote discussion with supposedly the opposite side that is an equal partner-ish, you know, kind of situation, and you're supposed to talk to each other supposedly with mutual respect, and instead it felt like you were talking to the lawyer on the other team. The answers that were provided were just that type of answer. It was infuriating to see. Oh, did I mention that at the end of it all? Actually, I'm not sure I can say it. But basically, let's just say that the discussion ended with somebody Alt F4ing and just quitting the discussion altogether. That is supposed to be how this partnership is supposed to work, right? Wargaming. Anyways, moving on to the next thing, and that has to do with feedback. Now, that's another one of those things that Wargaming loves to tell us that, hey, we're partners, so please be respectful. You know, we want to engage in respectful discussions. You know, that's a very common thing they love to say, you know, please show us some respect. And, you know, and then let's say you do that. You try to do those things in a civil and as a well thought out manner as possible. You would go to them, you'd present your feedback, and then you would be shut down. You would be told that you don't know what you're talking about. You'd be belittled. You'd be treated like you're just like a piece of trash from the road somewhere. You know, you just get treated like you're not supposed to say anything because now that you're offering feedback that like, nah, that's not really what we're looking for. We kind of wanted you to say all the good things about us, you know? And that was very, very, very frustrating. You know, you offer feedback in the feedback channel. It's often met with, no, you're wrong because our data shows X, Y, and Z, or no, you're wrong. We just simply don't agree with you. Or, you know, for me personally, one of the really good ones I kept hearing was, no, you're wrong because you're a Unicum player and therefore you represent a very small percentage of our player base and you cannot possibly understand what the feeling is like for the 40% players that are, you know, the large majority of our game. They would even come back with things like that. Utterly, utterly, utterly infuriating. And it was the one thing that turned me off from giving them feedback through the feedback channels. The other thing, of course, was that the whole CC Discord thing almost got engineered in a certain way. You know, they'd always be able to say, oh, but you could have just come and asked us about X, Y, and Z. You know, considering the experience so far, you know, like that became kind of the norm, you know, and this wasn't always the case. This was truly not always the case. Wargaming had its screw-ups way back in the day, but at least back in the day, one could say that there felt like there was going to be a discussion that could occur. That you'd have an ability to sort of talk to them, and you'd have an interesting discussion about mechanics or whatever, and there would be this back and forth and be like, oh, okay, I kind of see how they, you know, are thinking, and they would also at times get a sense of how, you know, we were thinking, and that they would start to say, oh yeah, you know what, that actually makes sense from the things that we used to provide them. That's gone now. That's been gone last maybe 2 years. It's just, there's something fundamentally that has shifted starting about what felt like maybe about 3 years ago, you know, as I guess certain people left the company and certain other people climbed their way up. There has just been this collective decline within the company itself in terms of any kind of real, you know, back and forth. Now it's mostly getting talked down at, getting talked down to, being diminished, being sort of made to feel stupid. Yeah, you know. And of course, I guess the most defining bit where it was a real eye-opener was CC Summit 2019. Wargaming had spent quite a lot of money, brought a lot of their CCs together into one big room, and then they pitched these ideas at us. And one of the ideas that was pitched to us was the Naval Training Center. And, you know, for those of you who don't remember, you can always go back, look for the old Naval Training Center Paragon system videos. And, you know, they pitched that system to us, and we were like, no, this is awful. This is terrible. What are you guys doing? And this was unanimous, almost negative feedback. And you would figure that after hearing all of that, they'd be like, okay, wow, you know what? All these people are telling it to our face that this is an awful change. Maybe we should consider that. But remember the whole like, oh yeah, actually you guys are just a vocal minority. They went with it. They released the same thing publicly. And then of course the whole thing exploded. And then they finally went, oh yeah, maybe that's not the world's best idea. And so, you know, in came the currently slightly reworked Research Bureau. But interestingly enough, World of Tanks Crew 2.0 came up, and it's almost the same thing as the original Naval Training Center. Like, maybe they just shuffled some of those people to another office, right? And they took the same ideas, quote unquote, they had over there. So that was really, really eye-opening to see that. You know, to see how little, you know, value we actually had when we were coming to discuss things, right? And then of course, the last and final thing, which is the screw-ups. Wargaming's repeated, you know, like every so often screw-ups, which by the way are becoming much, much more frequent these days. But, you know, they used to screw up and then they would apologize and they say, yeah, we're really, really, really sorry about this. And we're promising that we're going to do better. Now, for those of you who have been around and who have seen this and have heard this, let me ask you the all-important question. Have you noticed an improvement? Wargaming's management seems, you know, comically unwilling to, you know, fix any of the real problems. Think about how many we've had. Think about how many disasters we've had. And has anything changed? Has anything fixed? Has anything gotten better? In fact, the problems seem to be now occurring at an ever faster pace. We had how many in the last 3 months? Good Lord. You know, I jokingly made an image, you know, this job has worked X number of days without a PR screw up. And now that's becoming like, this job has worked X number of hours. Maybe in the future, it would be like talking about minutes, you know, without a PR screw up. It is shocking. It is shocking how bad this has become. Never mind the fact that with every screw up now, there's just an excuse. It's almost like pre-made, ready to go, right? With Yukon, it was a communication mistake. with the whole Distant Voyages container, it was a translation error. As if all the native speakers, all however 15 different languages you have native speakers for, they all simultaneously screwed up the translation. All the while, those containers just about broke how many consumer protection laws in the countries that you operate? There is some seriously messed up things in the company right now, Wargaming. And you guys need to start to address it. You need to start to examine these things in detail. Find out what's going on, because this is a much deeper problem. This is not just one community manager who accidentally said something. This is something cultural within the company. There are people in management positions who are not doing the job that they're supposed to be doing, or maybe unable to do the jobs that they are doing. And this is actually something that you guys can look up. There is actually these ideas within management that, you know, if you keep promoting people when they don't really deserve those promotions, they will end up in places where they're not able to do those jobs. So, enough is enough, Wargaming. This has to stop. I find myself no longer able to be affiliated with your morally bankrupt behavior. A company that treats its player base like they're just a bunch of walking bank accounts that can be milked for money every single time that you guys want to sell something. And worst of all, you target the people who are vulnerable to very predatory practices. I hereby resign from the Community Contributors Program, effective immediately. Now, to my many other CCs who are walking out, I congratulate you all for having the courage to stand up for what is right, to stand up for yourselves, to stand up for the communities that you represent. The only thing I want to tell you is at the end of the day, your reputations and your integrity are the only things that you have going for you. That, at the end of the day, is what your community will recognize. That is all you have and all you're going to have. And always remember, let the cautionary tale of one former North American community contributor who can never really get rid of that negative mark on their reputations be a reminder to do what is truly important and not to be a shill for a company. Thank you all. Take care. Remember to support the people who are standing up and stop giving Wargaming your money. Take care, and I'll talk to all of you again next time.
No, I'm not. I'm not, bro. I'm not. Just a typical me sometimes, but I'm not at all. No, the reason behind that is you can have me with a capital I. Capital I is secret instead of small l. Detectability by air. Yeah, we should turn it off for now. Although I would love that the CV goes for me actually. Testing it a bit out. Doesn't seem to be too bad. What's the origin of my name? Oh, that comes back to World of Warcraft. And I just created it. It just came up out of nowhere. And that's it. That's how it was born. He's trying to distract me. Fast answer. Let's go. There we go. Tried New World? No. Did you ever play RuneScape? No. I might go back to Warcraft though, with Burning Crusade Classic. We'll see. I'm not sure yet, because I really liked Burning Crusade back in the day, and I would go Classic only. Good old times. Nicholas, thank you, appreciate it. How are you doing?
Enemy cruiser detected.
Can we land some shells? Apparently that's forbidden.
Fire. Problem solved, sir.
Can't really lob, it's a bit annoying. I think it's not so agile, that's true. It's not. It's definitely not. Oh wow.
Torpedoes astern. Torpedoes astern.
Again, not really good situation to play. I don't like this too much. We have way too many enemies ducked down there. I need to switch. I cannot switch to position. If I go here, I'm gonna get led by them, because they are just moving up in a really strange way. We're still gonna try. Frick it, let's go.
Enemy destroyer detected. Torpedoes astern.
I'm just making sure he's gonna go down.
Hubfix just subscribed.
There we go.
Enemy cruiser sunk.
Upfix, thank you for 8 months. Welcome back to the UFA army. Really appreciate it, my friend. How are you doing?
Enemy cruiser detected. Engine boost activated.
Somebody shooting me from behind. I can outgun them, I'm pretty sure. If nobody else is interrupting our fight in the middle.
Problem solved, sir. Critical Critical engine damage.
They're shattering a lot, that's the good part.
Enemy destroyer detected.
Oh, nice CV.
Enemy battleship sighted.
Noise.
Engine boost deactivated.
We are radar by the Stalin now, though. I don't like that part.
Problem solved.
Come on, the permafire.
Enemy battleship detected.
No permafire. Meh. That Talent is burning down, I think, if I saw it last time correctly. Or not? He's still alive? Okay, he could damage con, I guess. No, these dudes don't realize they can't pen my middle part with HE. That's the thing. Conqueror just shot. Now would be perfect time to actually destroy the Holland. He left the cap even. Maybe Audacious can find him. Oh, he's in the other cap now? No, that's a different Holland. I would go, depending on the situation, AP or HE. Like, if he's, of course, nose in, I would go HE. If he's showing broadside. Depends on the ship. With an Haruguma, I would just keep blasting, continuing blasting with HE. But with ships that can pen it, definitely switch to AP. I don't know about you guys, but the ship fleet's extremely clumsy and slow though.
Enemy destroyer sighted.
The Talon's not gonna be in my range anymore. Where's the other one? It is pretty darn clumsy though. Takes a long time to deaccelerate and accelerate again.
Enemy battleship detected.
Take another heal here. That Conqueror damage count. Let's see if we can get a permafire.
Torpedoes to port.
Yep, that's a permafire, and the DD in the north is gone. Perfect.
Nice work.
Yes, your detection is quite bad, but your radar has the same value, so you don't care that much about it.
Our team has taken the lead.
If you play it around the radar, of course.
Engine boost activated.
If your radar's on cooldown, then it is pretty bad. Stalin gonna beach? He's gonna beach, right? No? Okay. I thought he's gonna beach. Conqueror just shot, so let's cook him again. Double fire doubles the fun. Goodbye. damage front? No. He did, okay. But he got
Engine
Stalin.
boost deactivated.
Yes, it is. Have we been a while? Pretty good, Calyx. How you doing, Cal? Hope you're safe and healthy. This is pretty darn nice, though. Like, against DD to DD combat, it's pretty good still. It's just you need to you're not allowed to get close because you're super unmaneuverable. And I will probably switch even to rudder shift with this thing because it is quite bad when it comes to rudder performance. On the other hand, it's quite slow with acceleration as well, so you might want to stay with propulsion. I'm not sure about that part yet. It's pretty good though. I like it. This is a way better ship than the other thing. Island is nowhere near the cap though. The AP doesn't seem that good, but the HG is quite nice. Not gonna lie. There we go. I think that's a triple perma on the Stalin, and one of them is mine. So Stalin is also gone, great. Goodbye.
We sank an enemy cruiser.
But is it worth 27k? Depends on what you want. At the moment, I would probably, if I had this deal, I would take it. Of all the steel ships I miss. I think it would be still the best choice for me. How much is a vampire? A vampire is, I think, 56k research points. Have you seen the answers on the Q&A Discord? No, but I expect they're exactly like the same Q&A and pretty Pepega. What else do you I don't know what people expect from Q&A. Because you will always get the same reply. We decide this because of this and we think it's fine, and something, well, it's clearly not fine or it is fine. Depending on what.
Enemy destroyer sighted.
He just got
Engine
nuked.
boost
Ooh,
activated.
let's go for the... No, it's over. I said let's go for the piggy. No, it's gonna be there next patch. We just get it for testing purposes. And it's final. The only thing that's not final about it is you will lose one consumable. You have only 2 raiders stock, 2 heals and 2 speed boosts, and not 3. That's the only thing that changes. But it's pretty nice. It feels pretty good. Let's
Hello, folks. We're going into battle in the Tier 10 Napoli. Italian cruiser. And going into battle right now. Any questions, throw in chat, folks. So, what's everybody think about the CCs leaving the game en masse? Quite phenomenal, I think. Here we got 3 destroyers this game. Look at the map.
Good luck, everyone. General quarters. Good luck, everyone.
Okay, 18.9 range on the guns.
I need help. All forces, provide cover for that target. Enemy force sighted on the horizon. Enemy cruiser detected.
Okay, we got the cap.
Enemy battleship sighted. Smoke generator started. Smoke screen set. Affirmative. Torpedoes to port. Torpedoes astern. Enemy cruiser sighted. Enemy battleship detected. Enemy cruiser sighted. Enemy battleship detected. All stations, requesting fire on the designated target. Enemy cruiser sighted. Enemy battleship detected. Much obliged. Enemy destroyer detected. All stations, defend that area. Our team has taken the lead. Torpedoes to starboard. Torpedoes to starboard. Concentrate fire. Smoke generator started. That was a great battle. Enemy cruiser detected. Enemy battleship detected. Smoke screen set. Torpedoes, dead ahead. Smoke generator started. That's how it's done. Smoke screen set. Torpedoes to port. Torpedoes, direct front. Torpedoes, dead ahead. Victory is in sight. Torpedoes to port. Torpedoes, dead ahead. All stations, reporting the position of a strategic target.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
Torpedoes to starboard. Attention, reporting the target position. stations, requesting fire on the designated target. Torpedoes to port. Torpedoes, direct front. Torpedoes, dead ahead. Hold below the waterline. We're flooding quickly. Problem solved, sir.
Last hope.
Solved, sir.
Yeah, couldn't pull off a win. What are you gonna do, folks? Not too friggin' much, pals. Not too friggin' much. Everybody died. That's the reality, folks. Everybody died. Oh my. Okay, we're taking a smoke break. Ugh.